Madimeka la pere le amola nano larna le ratahan la mafumahadi eling the ladies club nali biso laka kila Muhammad Swedi, and you're watching the #1 women's sports show in Mzansi that focuses on game changers as well as celebrating those incredible women as well as trailblazers in sport. Now, how to work a topiki ya runa ya kajeno. We zoom in on women who are playing sport for a good cause. You're welcome, of course, to join in the conversation. You can find us on all social media platforms. Our Twitter handle is @sport at SABC at Lebo Motswedi, and just continue to use the hashtag The Ladies Club. We're also on Facebook as well as Instagram. Now, sport is really a great catalyst for positive social change and human development. And we see many campaigns in the sporting world, the industry as a whole, that really continues to encourage changes in society. These campaigns are initiated by great minds who actively seek to address a particular social ill. Our guest today came up with a very own campaign that raises awareness of sexual violence against women. Barefoot runner SABIE Mashigo is our amazing game changer. She started the hashtag Run For Her campaign to raise awareness about sexual abuse. Let's quickly bring her in and introduce her to the Ladies Club. Hello and welcome, SABIE.
Hi, Lebo.
Brief description about the campaign that you started.
So hashtag Run For Her started around the 20th of March when two of my cousins were...
2019?
2019, yes. So two of my cousins were raped and one was murdered. One is 9 and one is 13. So the 9-year-old was murdered after the brutal rape. So during one of my routine runs, I just, I decided if I've got the opportunity to run, the victims of sexual violence are locked up in their rooms and they're unable to run. I'm a victim of sexual violence myself, and I needed an outlet. I needed a place where I could find solace, and running is it for me. So that's when hashtag Run For Her was born.
And how important is running enabled you in a therapeutic journey that you have found in it as well?
Running is... running brings people together. Running makes people relax, and it's also good for health reasons. And for me, it got me out of my darkest hole, and the only place that I could find that I'll be able to be free and to be able to protect myself was through running, and hence I'm running for her.
Sure, it is an incredible campaign that SABIE has started in March of 2019, and we'll definitely talk about it a bit later. For now, let's set the tone with an inspiring quote. This week's quote is by anti-apartheid activist and politician Helen Suzman, who says, "I stand for simple justice, equal opportunity and human rights, the indispensable elements in a democratic society and well worth fighting for." That's Helen Suzman, who was a powerful voice of South Africa's conscience during the darkest days of apartheid. And she battled the racist regime and earned her reputation as a legendary anti-apartheid campaigner. She later established the Helen Suzman Foundation to promote liberal democracy in South Africa. Now, the freedom fighter was awarded honorary degrees by Oxford, Harvard, as well as Columbia University, and in 1978 was granted the United Nations Human Rights Award. Incredible work that she's done. But SABIE is here to tell us how she's fought the battle in overcoming such tragedies in her life. We continue with her as a game changer in conversation right here on SABC2 right after this. Welcome back. Nzobuhile nano la rona le ratahang la mafumahadi eleng the Ladies Club mona mo kana leng ya bobedi re tswela pele ka o ketika mafumahadi ya rona a dipapadi. Ha re bue ka Barefoot runner. Lebitso la hae ke SABIE Mashigo, and she's here with us today, and she's an amazing game changer. Ya qadileng the hashtag Run For Her campaign to raise awareness about sexual abuse. Now, a tragic incident in her family triggered traumatic memories of when she herself was raped just 20 years ago. She's here to tell us more about herself and her fight against the scourge of sexual abuse in the country. Once again, welcome back to those that are tuning in for the very first time, SABIE. How important is it to find an outlet within sport? Perhaps if it's not sport, it is reading, but something that helps in dealing with the pain that one experiences in growing up, whether it's 20 years ago like yourself, or as we've spoken about our South African boxer Lee having been murdered as well. How important is it to find an outlet?
It's important. I cannot stress it enough, because you are stuck in that anger. I was very angry. I was very angry. I resented men. I resented my own husband. I resented my brother. I feared every man that I saw. Although with me it happened 20 years ago, it was fresh. The
It
wounds
doesn't
were
matter
open.
the time, yeah,
Exactly.
the time doesn't matter.
Exactly, and I hadn't dealt with my own sexual assault only after my cousin's brutal rape. That's only when I actually processed that actually this also happened to me 20 years ago. It's only then that I thought about how weak I was then, and now how strong I can be if I find something to take the energy out, and that was for me running and reading. So it's important to get something, an outlet to your anger can be channeled there, as opposed to, you know, things like thinking about murdering other people. So for me, running actually helped me to get out of that.
But you've always been active. Let's take it back to the days growing up. You've always been active. Hence, it was supposed easy for you to find an outlet in.
It was already there.
It was already there.
It was already there.
Yeah,
So,
take me through your journey in loving sport.
Sure. I started running about 15 years ago.
Wow.
I've always been in a club, so it's actually easier to run if you belong to a club. Then you enter races and you join in the fun, and so I joined Fit Kids about 3 years ago. Fit Kids is a family, it's not a club, it's a movement. We have, a lot of sporting codes. We have the cricket, we have the book club, we have football. It started as a football in 1993. For me, I guess what you're saying is true. It was easier because I had somewhere to go, and I had support. I had people who were supportive and who were attentive and who were helpful for me to be able to start this campaign. And for me, it was literally just saying, on that day, I was angry, and I said, #run for her. And that's how it was born. And I started running, and the Barefoot thing came later on Facebook. Social media it's a beautiful platform. I met a lady called Tremaine Barnes. She runs the Barefoot campaign. She's been hiking, walking barefoot an hour a day for victims of sexual violence. And I contacted her on inbox to say, can I do something? And she said, the great thing about you is that you're already running. Why not run barefoot for 1 kilometer? And I started with 1 kilometer, but now I'm at 5. So every single race I run the last 5 kilometers barefoot.
All right, we'll tackle the barefoot issue in a short while, but let's zoom in and zone in on the Run for Her campaign and how that was then received after you thought, I'm letting it all out, the anger's coming out, and #Run for Her. It started as a by the by, but how has it then grown, developed, and received?
People are very generous. They listen to your pain, and initially when I started with Run for Her, I ran with a black armband to say I'm in mourning. My cousin just died. We buried her a few weeks ago. That was when it was started. And how it was received, initially it was pity. You can feel pity. Initially it was pity, and it ended up being when people saw how serious I am and how consistent I am, they started taking it seriously. It's been well received. I would have runners who are coming up to me to say, when I do this race, can I please just wear an armband in support of your campaign? And also with the media, taking the story, interviews. So for me, I think by the time I got to Comrades, everyone knew what Run for Her was. You helped me with the interview for Radio Metro, so everyone knew what Run for Her was. So for me, it was important that people understood why I did it. It was not about feeling sorry for myself. It was about me letting it all out and letting victims know that it was not your fault. And you can do something about it. You can run, but do not lock yourself in that room. Because the perpetrators are walking around free. True. So you're locked up in a room.
You're the only one that's feeling like that.
Exactly. So you're in jail, but they're running free.
Yeah.
They're walking around free. So I wanted women to know, or whoever that has gone through sexual violence, to say, you can take back your power. And the only way to do that for me was through Run for Her.
And how do you deal with women that come to you having experienced sexual violation that want to be part of the campaign, but you realize actually they need more than just the Run for Her campaign, because there is more. That was your outlet. Running might not be mine, but I still want to join in. How do you handle that?
So that's where the Barefoot sandals came in.
Great.
So we've got a beautiful concept between myself and the Barefoot campaign. So the Barefoot sandals are for survivors of sexual violence as well as supporters. So as a survivor, you are saying, I'm taking back my power. By wearing the Barefoot sandal, you're saying, I'm taking back my power. I will not lock myself in that room again while my perpetrator is running free. I will report the rape, because I think the biggest issue here is that people do not report rape.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we have created additional victims of sexual violence, because if you don't report it, it's going to happen again and again and again. And for me, the Barefoot sandal represent breaking those chains as a victim, to say, I'm taking back my power through these sandals, which represent my power. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to wear that. And for supporters to say, I understand your pain, and although this has not happened to me, I understand what you're going through, and I'm with you, and I honor you for getting out of that room and actually getting out and doing something about it.
And you've run the Comrades Marathon. Something very crazy to do, I must add, because I did speak to you about that.
Yes.
Before this journey, what was the reason that you decided to do your first Comrades?
That's crazy.
I'm glad you still say it now.
Comrades is crazy. So I just joined Fat Cats in 2017, and they were running this wonderful campaign for lionesses.
Yeah.
So at that point, our chairperson was Michelle, and she wanted to get more women to start running Comrades, because it's seen as a men's sport, as a men race. I ran Comrades last year, 2018. It was a down run, and I didn't finish. I stopped at 50 kilometers. That's where it stopped. And in January, I had made a decision, I'm not running Comrades again. And when the tragedy struck me, I had to make a decision. Am I going to do this, or am I not? But for me, it was about also taking back my power. So I decided, well, let me just do 2019 on behalf of victims of sexual violence. I think running for a purpose, it gave me that strength to be able to carry and finish Comrades 2019.
What an incredible journey she's had. This year, she ran the Comrades Marathon, and she wanted to also do it barefoot, something that is not easy, because over 87 kilometers with sneakers on already is a tedious and very difficult journey. We found out whether or not she was able to run the remainder of this year's Comrades barefoot or not, and how she felt about overcoming the heartbreak that she suffered by herself and as a family with the loss and sexual abuse of loved ones. Coming back right after this. Welcome back. You are still watching The Ladies Club, and we get right into it with our trailblazer today, who is Princess Charlene of Monaco. The former Olympic swimmer was born in Zimbabwe and later moved to South Africa with her family. Now, she represented South Africa back at the 2000 Olympic Games with her team, finishing fifth in the 4x100-meter relay. And that was Charlene that went on to secure several national titles over the years and retired eventually from competitive swimming in 2007. As the gorgeous Princess of Monaco now, she remains actively involved in charitable causes, a sound symbol of elegance and compassion. And still with us here, we are still sitting with another woman, incredible one. She's had a big heart in making sure that she continues making sure that the legacy of those that have been sexually violated somehow is strengthened in saying, take your power back. SABIE, your cousin, or little nephew, 13-year-old, you say, she's still in hospital.
Yes.
When she watches you today, what would you like her to take away from the hashtag Run For Her campaign?
I want her to know I'm doing this for her. I'm doing it for all the other little girls that have been violated. I want her to know that I am with her. I believe her. I think the believe part is important. I believe her. I believe in her strength. I know she's going to come out of this stronger. I think sometimes things happen to the strongest of us, and this can only make her stronger. And she mustn't worry about school. I mean, she can have a year off. And just relax, and I'm hoping that we're not going to rush her to take her back to school, so that, you know, she relaxes and processes what's happened to her. But all I want to tell her is that she's stronger than what happened to her.
And now we're seeing some visuals coming through for the Comrades Marathon. There you are in Barefoot. You are doing the Run for Her campaign, but what led to now changing that? Because running already is difficult, but doing it barefoot?
I choose to go through the pain of victims of sexual violence because they don't have a choice. I've got a choice to wear running shoes, but they don't have a choice when they're violators. They don't have a choice of the pain. The pain chooses them. They don't choose it. I choose this pain on their behalf.
2019 Comrades Marathon Barefoot, how did that go?
Comrades itself, the race itself.
The race itself
after I've
Comrades,
gone through what I've gone through personally, was not easy. And around 75 kilometers, I honestly, truly wanted to give up. And that's before I actually put on the barefoot sandals to run barefoot. The pain of victims was already playing in my head. But when I heard that trumpet to say they're doing the cut-off, I had to make a decision. Am I going to race and run, finish, and not do this? Because the whole point of me running Comrades was to do this. So I put on my barefoot sandals. And
you took off your sneakers?
And I took off my sneakers and I went. So I finished Comrades 12 hours, 11 minutes. But it was well worth it. I went there because I wanted to finish running Comrades barefoot for victims of sexual violence.
And would you do it again?
Over and over and over again. So out of this, the Barefoot Warriors was born. So the concept of Barefoot Warriors are men and women who are taking up the challenge with me to run barefoot for victims of sexual violence.
Sure.
They may not know a victim themselves, but what they're saying is we pledge solidarity for victims of sexual violence. So already now I have about 5 Barefoot Warriors who are dedicating their time and the pain to go through what I'm going through to run barefoot for victims of sexual violence. So when I see these images and I see my Barefoot Warriors.
And what are the difficulties of running barefoot?
The stones, the road is not even, the broken glass, the thorns, the blisters.
Oof.
But when I get home and I put my feet up,
oh no,
I know it was only temporary. The body has got an amazing way of healing itself.
True.
So this will be for 3 or 4 days. The 4th day, the body has healed completely. So the pain is temporary. I always say, whoever wants to join the Barefoot Runners, I tell them the pain is temporary. But the victims of sexual violence, their pain is permanent. They even die with the pain.
And what keeps you motivated?
It's the inboxes. I actually haven't really thought about it, but it's the inboxes.
Inboxes where?
From people.
Social media. This is social media. What is your social media platform?
My social media platform is SABIE MASHIGO Lekote. That's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, I am the hashtag Run for Her.
And people, ladies, men, can get in touch. Yeah.
Men. We never thought this happens to men. Men come to me on my inbox to say, you are brave. I'll give a perfect example. The day that I came out, people don't read. So I would post and say, this happened to me. I'm also a victim of sexual violence. So I thought, there's a picture that you posted where I was wearing black.
Yeah.
I chose that picture specifically because I was in mourning for my own attack that happened 20 years ago. And that day I revealed the details of my attack. And I told people after that, and I said, I'm releasing myself from this pain, and I'm releasing other victims of sexual violence who have never actually came out to say, this is a platform for you. You take your power back by literally telling people about what happened. And some people on my Facebook itself started saying, this happened to me. And my inbox, the shy ones, went on inbox to say, this also happened to me. You are brave, you are strong. Please keep on going. You're doing this for me. Your story is my story. And that keeps me going.
What is it that you, a mantra that you chant to yourself, I've got to keep going?
For me is always, I'm stronger than my pain.
Absolutely.
And for all the victims of sexual violence, even my cousin that is currently now still in hospital, she's stronger than her pain.
And what can we expect from you in the next couple of months?
More Barefoot Warriors. Are
you preparing for a race at the moment?
I'm running for 12 months. So this campaign is going to run for the full 12 months, from July 2019 to July 2020.
Yeah.
So I closed the curtain completely for Run For Her after Comrades 2020.
Oh, okay.
And then I move over to the Barefoot campaign because more work has been done there. So, yeah, so the next 12 months I'll be running every single race. The last 5 kilometers I'll be running barefoot.
And how many kilometers did you do barefoot for Comrades this year?
For Comrades, I did 3 kilometers barefoot.
And how was it?
That was... You see, the body was already in so much pain.
Already? You just
so
put in like
physically, emotionally, psychologically, I was already in pain. So I literally, to be honest with you, Lebo, I felt no pain.
Well, thank you so much, and we are proud of you for sharing your journey, your story, and we wish your family and loved ones a speedy recovery in overcoming this. I don't know how else she will overcome this, but faith in the unseen will definitely... I hope should help, you know, and reach out, and we'll continue to also perhaps do like I don't know about a kilometer barefoot. I'll join in, but not a kilometer.
Even 100 meters.
I'll do 100 meters.
Even 100 meters will go towards victims of sexual violence to say Lebo is also, you know, for this campaign. So yes, we would appreciate that.
Sabie, thank you so much. You've been incredible.
Thank you.
All right, that's Sabie. She's been absolutely amazing. Founder of #Run For Her campaign. The story behind it is one filled with so much sadness, especially in light of the so many female souls that we've lost just in the last couple of weeks to violence, to crime, to sexual violation. South African athletes that have suffered and lost their lives in the hands of men. I think it is time for South Africa to now stand up and face this monster head on. Of course, you're also welcome to send us your ideas of trailblazers and stories about women in sport. But that's all the time we have for you for today. For SABC Sport. This has been a great day in the house of the Ladies Club. Good morning.